All right. We are up and running. Let's go ahead and get everything loaded and jump back into Breath of Fire 2. Alright, got control, got audio, everything should be coming in clear. Hey, Sarlad's here. What's up, Sarlad? How are you doing today? I hope you're ready for what's potentially going to be the last session for Breath of Fire 2. We'll see. Let me fix my mic here. Sorry, I said tired, and you? I'm doing alright. I woke up a little bit earlier than normal. I had some stuff I had to take care of today, but I'm doing alright. Okay, let's take stock. So we are here in Township. Between the last session and now, I did do some grinding on Monster Island. I was thinking about trying to get everyone to 60, but it took a while just to get everyone close to 50. Rand is lagging a bit because he was lower level than everybody, but we got everyone else above 50. This should be fine. Well, we'll see once we actually start going through the final dungeon. Hey, Iconic's here. What's up, Iconic? How you doing today? Hope your Sunday is going well. You can see we stacked up a lot of cash, so I do want to do one more shopping run before we hit the final dungeon. Go to, I think Gunt's is due south. We'll go to the nearest item shop, sell off all of our junk, see if there's anything worthwhile in our vault, since we did dump some items in there for storage. Let's see. Is that south of Gate? Yeah, here we go. I think there's an item shop here. Our point of interest will be due north, so we can just head up there after we do our shopping. I think gear-wise, we have everyone geared as good as it's going to get. Okay, no more extra gear. While I was doing farming on Monster Island, I picked up a ton of these extracts, which, if we take a look at the item list, extracts are a full recover, which is nice, but they don't stack. And as a result, they take up a bunch of space in the inventory, which is a little bit annoying. Starlight asks, what town people did you recruit? We have the 3 merchants. I did not track down the hunting NPC because, honestly, I didn't do any hunting. I was purely grinding levels. So we won't have the town fully built out, but that's okay. It won't have any bearing on the end of the game. Core says, today Raku will fight and kill God. Hopefully. Or at the very least, uncover the secret of the weird religious cult that is attempting to destroy the world. I see Nocturnal Blade's here. What's up, Nocturnal Blade? Both of these, Diamond Bracelet and Collar, have strange powers. I don't remember what they do. But I think everyone else is got accessories. We'll just store them for now. Gold. These are used for fishing if you want to try and attract the merchant. We won't be doing any fishing in the final dungeon. Wait, there's no wise balls in here? Nope. Maybe I used the one I found while we were traveling around. There's a couple permanent stat increasing items here, like luck candy. We'll give that to Ryu. Oh, there's one wise ball. This would be an emergency item. Strength. I'll give that to Cat. And guts. We'll also give that to Cat. These permanent stat increasing items are scattered throughout different dungeons and spots in the game. If you get the first Carpenter NPC earlier when you start constructing your town, it opens up the ability to have a kitchen. And when you have the kitchen, you can actually craft these stat increasing items so you can max out everybody's stats, make a completely busted party. And I didn't realize that until after we had gotten the NPCs. But that's okay. This is actually going to make the end of the game a little bit challenging instead of just a cakewalk. Alright. So our basic loadout for items will be a bunch of these. We're going to go through a ton of healing items. We're going to need a bunch of magic increasing items because we can't use those wise balls. The wise balls are 100 magic points. These fruits are only 20, which is pretty much the best we've got here. I'm going to grab some life pills in case someone gets killed. And I think the rest is going to be smoke. And now we just need to fly north. We'll put the home city right next to our point of interest, and then we will go into the final dungeon, north of Town of Gate. Now the final dungeon is big. It's a pretty lengthy dungeon with a couple different spots, but I'm fairly sure we're gonna be able to beat the game in this session since this is the last point of interest. Okay, everyone's healed up. This is a spot where we killed the original founder of the Ava Church. We've been posing as a priest in the town. Ryu and Patty's mother was the dragon that was guarding the entrance to the dungeon here. And she opened up the gate. And now we get to go in. And this is Infinity. Got some pretty cool Mode 7 style effects in the back. And basically we are heading down. And this is the side entrance. Okay. That's where we got the Devil Shaman. And we want the path in the middle. And right away, the encounter rate is incredibly high here. So I'm going to probably be using a lot of smoke to cut down on the amount of random battles. But we're also going to need to continue to gather experience while we're moving through here. Cyrolat says, oh boy, long spiraling path. Yeah, the first part of this dungeon is this sort of winding section, which I think you can use Sten to shortcut, but he's not in the party, so we're going to have to just hoof it all the way around. These spots right here. If you have Sten, you can reach across the gap, and I believe that it just saves time. But we'll see how leveled my party is for the encounters here. Not bad so far. We're getting about 20-something K in experience. Oh, that's instant death. Okay. It's gonna be annoying if I get hit with instant death on the shaman characters, because it'll undo their fusion. Oh, that's right. It's a chance to recover, which is dumb. If you have a res spell, you'd think it would just work, but no. Let's see, Iconic redeemed a hydrate. A full cup of fuel for today. And hopefully it lasts long enough. Shiny bracelet. I forgot I need to account for picking up things in the dungeon itself. We'll burn an extract. Prevent abnormal status. Okay, I think that's all statuses. We will put that on Rand. Yeah, that should be better than the Kramer one, which just prevents zombie status. Starlight asks, how long did you make time for? 4 hours? I'm gonna go as long as I need to beat the game. Unless for some reason we're not even close and it's been 3+ hours. But yeah, that's the reason why I switched the time block for this one to Sunday, because I essentially have all evening. I understand people are probably going to need to go when it gets closer to 5 my time, because Wazi's crowd control streams around then, but hopefully it doesn't go over. Part of the reason why I did some grinding was that it doesn't take as long to get through the final dungeon, but we'll see. Oh, I think my smoke's already done. Another thing we can do, especially once we get into the lower levels of Infinity, there are some fairly tough mobs down there. We can also use Nina's Banish ability, which will just cause enemies to flee instantly. If we really get into some tough fights, we can do that to just proceed and end the encounter. Okay. So now we've switched to the main tile set from the side entrance, and this is going to be pretty much what we see in Infinity going down for a little bit. It is fairly linear. There are some things that require special characters to get, but it's mostly just items or gear. So there's another point that we need Sten to grapple. But we'll skip those for now. One thing I was trying to do when I was farming up and prep for the end of the game is find enemies that drop those wise balls for magic recovery, but I was unable to get any. There's a... Ooh, that's a big boy. This one will throw some heavy magic. Not bad. Nature Whip. That is a weapon for Spar. I think there's ultimate weapons for the entire party down here. Or at least end game weapons. I think from one of the previous streams when we were talking about it, we learned that there are rare drop weapons for each of the characters, but I don't think they're all down in this dungeon. The problem with running through the game when you don't have the ability to craft the stat increasing items, you can't increase your luck, which I believe luck is crit rate and item drop rate. Shiny hat. I guess we can discard Kramer bracelet. Okay, that's an improvement. I don't think that the bracelets protect against death. That's a specific item. Prevents you from getting one shot. As long as we don't encounter something that can cast that in the entire party, we should be okay. We're going to continue to stack up tons of cash, which will really have no bearing on the game at this point forward. Had we gotten the kitchen NPC to craft items, it'd basically be burning all of the cash that we make grinding up levels to buy items to use for crafting, creating stat items, maxing out all the characters, and doing that ad nauseum until we have like a maxed out party. That was one thing I was doing on my original save on the advance, which I still have. I haven't played it in a while, but I was pretty much at the end of the game, and I'd spent up to that point maybe 20 something hours just grinding, creating items. The point was to max out the stats of every single character in the game, and I hadn't done that, but I was pretty close with this main party. The characters you see here were the ones I decided to try and max out first, and so that's what I was doing, just cause. And so I've never actually beaten the advanced version of Breath of Fire 2. The save on the advance I was playing was just trying to optimize a party, and then eventually I got distracted. So this will be the first time beating this version. I've beaten the original. I've beaten the original a few times. But for the advanced version, we're pretty much going to see all the stuff in the ending for the first time. So that'll be interesting. Power food. That is a permanent damage increase. I'll throw that on the hero. And you might be wondering, just looking at how I've been giving stat items, most of them I'm giving them to Ryu. The reason for that will be clear later. In a lot of these games, it's kind of a trope to give the main character or the main protag all of your stat increasing items. It does have a bit of a bearing to some stuff later that we'll see. My smoke is up again. Another thing to keep in mind, I believe if we use exit, it will take us all the way back out to gate. But there's no real waypoints that I remember. So if you do that, you basically have to hoof it through the entire dungeon again. But if we get completely out of items or we get in real trouble, we should be able to port out. But Infinity is kind of an endurance map. Fortunately, the enemies we're running into here are pretty easy to auto. Let's see. Wow, let's keep going. I don't know what's in that chest. These... I believe the mammoth enemies are weak against Angel? But it's still a chance to go off, I think. I'll try again. It was either Angel or Death. One of those two. They're tough though, these are tanky enemies. There we go. 40k. Starlight said, yeah, Angel one-shots mammoth enemies, but it's a % chance, right? I wonder what the % chance is to one-shot. We threw it maybe 3 or 4 times, and it didn't insta-kill. I guess we can keep trying. Okay, heading down. Okay, success rate depends on the wisdom of the enemy, which was invisible to us. I almost wonder if it would be more efficient to use something like Bolt X and just go for the straight damage instead of relying on the chance to insta-kill. Does it tell us what floor? Nope. Okay. We do need to be thorough in exploring all the different paths. There is a town that is the last town in the game towards the bottom of Infinity, but instead of beelining it, we also need to explore everything because there is something of plot importance down here. I just don't remember which section of the map it's in. Mortal Ring. Yep. It's a pretty decent damage hike, even though she doesn't need weapons, but if we find something that'll up her attack power since we're just autoing, we can go ahead and put that on. Nina is doing okay damage for a non-attacker. Shadow DR, Shadow Dagger. That would be a weapon for Sten, I believe. And he is not in the party. Guess we can grab it for now. — 52. I don't remember what level the game recommends. Oh boy, that's a big one. Ifrit, which I'm pretty sure was supposed to be translated as Ifrit. That is a big boy. Let's see, I think it's ice. Now, Sarah, I know you beat this game somewhat recently. What level was your party when you beat it? You may have told me before and I forgot. We're in here at just about mid 50s ish, with the exception of Rand. So when you beat it, what level was your party, and how challenging was it when you went through the end? Okay, that's not bad. Note, as we proceed through this floor in the Infinity Dungeon, there's going to be a lot more branching paths, so it'll behoove us to check each path that we have access to. Getting a little bit low on magic points, AP for Rand. I think we're close to the break in the dungeon before we hit the city or town. I think. And we'll keep going before we start burning some W fruits. Dream Burr. Okay. That is another accessory. We'll discard this singular help ball. Dream Bracelet. Erase the spell. I don't remember what that does. I think it has something to do with magic defense. Problem with these things is they have kind of ambiguous descriptions, and it doesn't actually tell you what it does. I guess I can look it up. Partial immunity. Huh. Grants partial immunity, huh? Okay. I guess we can throw that on Rand. Wisdom's not going to affect a whole lot for him because he's not an attack magic user. I guess we can put that on. Starlat says Ryu 43, Nina Cat Blue 41. Okay, so Not too far off in levels. A little bit higher. I guess we'll see how easy it is. Sorry, that also says, might have only won with a counterattack, had 0 MP, HP items left. Ah, so it was close. Like, I want to say the first time I beat this game, and I did grind a lot more than I did for this run. The first time I beat it, I was probably around 60. Like, I've never done everyone's at level 99. That's what I was doing on my advanced save, that I was trying to max everything out. It's been so long. I'd assume if you're around between 50 and 60, it's probably enough. We'll see. The mobs down here are tough, but they're not greatly hampering my party. Okay, dead end. But it's a bit of an endurance slog. As you fight stuff, you'll go through a lot of items, and if you run out, that's when it gets difficult. Final Knuckles. Okay, that's definitely a weapon for Rand. Oh, let's see, what can we drop? Gonna burn another extract. Gonna full up. Well, let's drop it. Oh, it's a worse weapon. Well, that's annoying. What's up north? Nope, nothing. Another one of the branching paths would have got us an item. We will continue heading down. More smoke. Okay, this is the bottom of this section. This is just an empty room. Yep. Down to 100 AP for Rand. We'll go through a couple more sections before I start using items. The reason why I'm not having him use any attack magic is just to save his points for healing. Hey, 49. Okay, here we are. Oh, finally. Finally, the time is here. Oh, the light you radiate. You're no doubt the Destined Child. Welcome, Destined Child. This is the Dragon Town, home of the Dragon Clan, Dologany. Our Destined Child, we were waiting for you to come. Please go to the Elder. Elder, oh Destined Child, first we must thank God for bringing you here safely. And there is something you should know about your destiny. The destiny of the Dragon Clan. A long, long time ago, a brave dragon defeated the goddess Myria, and the world regained its peacefulness. That is a reference to the first Breath of Fire game. Everyone hoped those days would last forever, but... ... We found out that it was here. It was something the goddess left behind in this world. It was like a small scar. It may be called the Seed of Evil. It swallowed the people's fears, desperation, hatred, jealousy, and other negative feelings, and was growing from it. We realized that someday it would grow to become very powerful and become the world's enemy. What the evil goddess left deep underground, that name was Death Evan. Silent said the goddess made Twitter. Pretty much, the seed of evil that feeds on all the negative feelings of people pretty much describes Twitter in a nutshell. Death Evan spread throughout the world like seeds grow roots. Even then, we could not see or defeat Death Evan. This is a reference to the opening cinematic. This tower is essentially the Labyrinth of Infinity, and the town of Dologany is kind of in between. Even then, we could not see or defeat Death Evan. The reason is because it has no real shape. In order to defeat Death Evan, we had no choice but to wait until he took shape. It's a tall tower. Our Dragon Clan went underground and continued to wait until Death Evan took shape. The demon was growing and we had no choice but to wait until he went out into the human world. Do you understand? Destined Child. Do you understand the history of our Dragon Clan? And about the living beings in the world and about our enemy Death Evan? Because Saint Ava sent so much energy to the demon Death Evan has already shown himself. You must defeat him before he gets any bigger. Note, we, the players in audience, have not physically seen the demon yet. We've only heard it talk and seen like a shot of its eye. Kind of Sauron-esque. The only person who can do this is you, Ryu. You're the Destined Child. Yeah. Yeah, I've been saying that to me the entire game. Gat says, I thought you were a little different, but Ryu is a great man. Rand says, at this point, there's no pulling back. Take destiny in your hands. Nothing from Nina? Saint Ava is gone, but that doesn't mean the evil feelings of people have disappeared. If you let time pass, Death Evan will become even stronger. Go, my destined child. Oh, we get a new theme. You can run from your difficult destiny. No one is forcing you into anything. But even Valerie hopes you will accept your destiny. Did you forget? Valerie is my daughter and your mother. How would he forget that? He's never met this guy before. I know she gave up her life to save you, but I still believe that she did the right thing. Scarlet says, Final Tower from Breath of Fire 1. At least the game doesn't strip your Shaman fusion. No, it doesn't for now. Alright, now we have a flashback. We now have control of Valerie. This is Ryu's mom. Okay. I think we can just walk around town and talk to the NPCs. Alright, that's progress. You're leaving the grounds, Valerie. You're spelled incorrectly. Okay. It's not a big town. It's essentially a couple floors. We, the Dragon Clan, have stronger powers than other clans. That's why it's our responsibility and our destiny to go underground and seal the demon. Alright. I've said my goodbyes. I see, then... Martin, Valerie, take this with you. Father, what is this pendant? Oh, this is her dad. It is a jewel called the Tear of the Dragon, which shows a person's heart. This will protect you from getting lost when you go out into the world. The demon Death Evan is regaining strength. When the demon wriggles, that is when the world will begin to perish. That's interesting that Valerie doesn't have an actual text notification thing. It's just a red bracket, as you can see. I understand, Elder. Hey, Wazi's here. Wazi says, Raku, help, I'm being bullied. I am just a little guy, and it is also my birthday. It is not your birthday, Wazi. Why are you being bullied? Check what is happening and report it. Okay. I'm counting on you, Valerie. And energy of the negative feelings of the people of the world strengthen the demon day after day. I don't know who's talking here. This is her. Something is going to happen. I'm the dragon's maiden in the service chosen to research what is going on. Valerie says, I'm going now. May the providence of the dragon god be with you. That's a pretty cool rendered image of Valerie. This is also new to the advanced version. I said goodbye to Dologany and started my journey up and up to the world above. So she just walked up and soloed the entire dungeon. The doors of the seal closed right after me. These doors will not open again, at least for the time being. Wazzy says, Sarlad, you should be in the Shadow Realm. And Wazzy says, also, is this woman a furry? She's like a lady with dragon wings. I don't know if that makes her a furry, but she looks like a regular person. She just has wings. Okay, this is the town of Gate. Can I save? Looks like the people here believe in the dragon god. Once I realized this, I felt a little better. Nope, can't save. I wonder if this is a church. This isn't a church that praises the dragon god. It interested me. The atmosphere in the church was absolutely divine. That makes sense. Ah, Gainer. Welcome to the St. Ava Church. Huh? The dragon's tear told me why he was so jittery. This man had fallen in love with me, a woman from another clan, in one glance. Sometimes it'd be like that, I guess. But this did not surprise me. The reason was because I also fell in love with him at first sight. Alright. People of Dologany, can you hear my voice? The world above is quiet and content. I still have not discovered what is sending strength to the demon. But... Gainer says, there you are. And Valerie says, yes, I'm praying to the dragon god. Gainer says, this is a problem? What will people think of the wife of a St. Ava church preacher praying to the dragon god? And so I don't know how much time has passed, but they got married. Ha ha ha, I'm just kidding. Are you? I will also pray to the dragon god to bless us with a healthy child. St. Ava's god, the dragon god, they are both gods. Oh, maybe he's not kidding. Theology. You're carrying a baby, so don't move around too much. Oh, she's already pregnant. Alright. Well, some time has passed since then. Oh, she's already had one kid? I guess we should go in here and see. Oh yeah, there's little Ryu running around. So this is Yua, her second kid that she's getting ready to have. How much longer for my little brother? Have you already decided it's going to be a little brother? Yeah, I'm going to be his boss. This is the main character ever talks in the entire game. What if it's a little sister to you? What sister? I won't be her boss then. Please protect her. Okay. Valerie, let's pray to St. Ava next. Hey, Ryu, it's time to pray. St. Ava's God and his children. I felt bad for Gainer. This is Valerie talking. But I was not interested in the beliefs of Saint Ava. The fact that I have always believed in the dragon god was not the only reason. My instinct as a dragon's maiden in the service suspected something strange about Saint Ava. Well, she was right. Time continued to pass without finding out anything about the demon. During this time, I became the mother of 2 children and was beginning to forget about the frightening demon growing underground, but... I wonder what's going on. It's noisy outside. I'm going to look. Wow, what is going on? The village is being attacked by demons, and the demon appeared from the world underground. Back off, demons. It's endless. Where did these demons come from? Okay, this is before the events at the very beginning of the game happen. Burr? Demon go burr? Okay. Alright, I think we have to head north to the entrance. No, this is the side entrance again. As I suspected, the seal weakened, and the demons are coming through the crack. Death Evan Underground is gaining strength and sending his demons to the world above. If something isn't done, eventually a bigger demon will come out. And Death Evan appearing in the world is possible. I made a decision to strengthen the seal of the gates, in the one way I knew how. Goodbye, Gainer. Goodbye, Ryu. Goodbye, my adorable children. This is after she had her other daughter? This was the only way I could think of to tighten the seal. That is to change into a dragon and sit on the gates. It took a lot of strength to remain in the body of a dragon. I was falling into a deep, deep sleep. I thought I heard Ryu's voice. Mom? Brr. Wah! Ryu. You fool, Ryu. Why did you come outside? Dad, where's Mom? Valerie? What happened to your mother? What? What was that voice? It's coming from behind the mountains. What is this dragon? Is it dead? I wonder if he knew that she was from the Dragon Clan. I probably would have noticed because she had wings, but it's never stated in the story. This dragon protected us? Demons can't come out because this dragon sealed the doors. Where did this big dragon come from? Dad, look. This pendant. Dad, where's Mom? Where's Mom? Where's she? Where's Mom? Put 2 and 2 together, kid. Where'd the music go? There's a power called Anthony. Who can probably possess that power? Okay, that's weird that we had no transition back to control, but we should be able to save. So I don't believe there's any merchants here. We can look. We talk to everybody. Okay, that's your plot confirmation for Patty. In case you didn't catch it when we save her before opening the gates. It's kind of confirmation that she's also from the Dragon Clan, therefore she's your sister. Okay, free in. Sleep on the floor of the destroyed house. Now, does she have items? Yes, okay, we do have merchants. I guess we can sell Final Knuckles, Shadow Dagger. What do you have to buy? Standard cure stuff. I think we're good for now. That's got to be a reference to something. Looks like Ray. I'm part of the Black Dragon Clan. If you look like me, Ray must be a descendant of the Black Dragon Clan as well. They were one of the rival clans in the first game. Oh, the clan didn't have wings, but developed them due to mutation. The demon Death Heaven is trapped in the towers behind these doors. Only the destined child is permitted to enter. Okay. Well, that's me. Alright. This is the second section of the dungeon, I believe. Okay, we have a slightly different tile set, but more or less this is downward path into the final section of Infinity. Now, this is where we need to be wary of split paths, I believe. Oh, that's a big boy. One we've seen before, apparently. Oh, healing spring. Oh, is the point of interest right here? I could have sworn it was... Yeah, I guess it is. I could have sworn it was a little more out of the way. This is something you can miss, and if you miss this, it'll cost you the ending of the game. Alright. Anthony. Okay, with power comes great sacrifice. You cannot kill Death Heaven without the Anthony. Yep, that's plot. Plot, plot, plot. We're the wise men of the dragon. Someone to watch the dragon's greatest power. Brave men of the dragon, do you have any more questions? No. Talk to all the wise men and come again. Okay? Oh, this must be one of the prompts that's backwards. Okay. Let's go find the powerful strength of the dragon. That'd probably be confusing back in the day. In order to obtain the great dragon power, Anthony, you must make a very difficult choice. First, we must go to a room and meet people there. Alright, we'll do it systematically. Hey, Bao. Buddy, we've come to quite a place. I don't know if I'm any help to you, but I'm always on your side. Alright. Buddy, don't say anything and pick me. Let me do something cool once in a while, huh? Okay, we have to do this for every character. So this is... all of our party members have these sort of mini dialogues as part of this particular event. I think it's the order you get them, too. Is it Cat next? No, Rand next. Okay. Hee hee hee, you're really something, Ryu. I'll bet you would be able to use this dragon power stuff. Iconic says wide boy. Yeah, Rand is an actual unit. When he's using his shaman form, he's actually smaller than the hero, but normally he's a big armadillo man. At the beginning, I thought I was taking care of you younger guys, but Ryu, you're truly great. There's nothing for me to worry about, so leave this part to me. You young guys can handle the rest. He's also like 30-something, and everyone else is a teenager, I think. Sorry, lad said endgame. Yeah, we're getting the soul stone. There's Cat. Okay. I don't understand this stuff very well. All I can do is fight. But I want to help Ryu in any way I can. I really do. There's something I never told you after you saved me at the Colosseum. Thank you. I owe you my life, Ryu. Gotta start paying you back. I don't know if that dialogue changes if you don't save her. I've never done it before. That would be interesting if she has a different line if you didn't save her from the poison darts. Hey, Nina. I've experienced so much in our journey. If I didn't meet Ryu, I may have gone through life knowing very little. Thank you very much. Oh, she's so polite. I was always bound by the legend of my black wings. I always wished to disappear for the good of Windia. But now, from the bottom of my heart, I want to assist you. Please choose me, Ryu. Okay, 3 more. Jean? Yep. I don't believe there are any bad people in this world. Just bad hearts and weak people. It's difficult for weak people to become strong. That's why we have to get rid of the bad hearts. Please understand. That's a surprisingly serious and deep comment from like, the most aloof, kind of goofy, not a care in the world character in the game. It may be unfair, but I prefer to suffer than to watch others suffer. In that sense, I've been waiting for a chance like this. Yeah, again, pretty serious and altruistic from Jean, who's pretty much not really cared about anything so far. Character growth. A Sten? Yep. Okay. One day I realized I didn't want to fight anymore, but watching you has changed me. Boss. Ha ha ha. I'm serious now. Sarlad asks, who's best girl in your opinion? In this game? I'd say it's pretty close between Kat and Nina, but I would go Kat. Spunky, fighting Tom girl type over nice, polite girl wins out in this particular case. If you were in my shoes, if I can be of assistance to you, you're welcome to use my life in any way. Okay. Last one. Spar. Blue does not get dialogue because she's technically a secret character. Recently I've been thinking, there are things that logic cannot explain. I think that strong powers of the heart are what will save the world from danger. It's something that you have inside. Spar's whole arc is that he doesn't really understand human emotions. As you know, our clan has no emotion. There you go. Therefore, what I am about to say is completely practical. Please select me. That is the best for everyone. Very pragmatic, Spar. Iconic says, tomboys for the win. Sarlat said, also technically Nina is related to Ryu. I don't know if it's ever confirmed that Ryu's a direct bloodline descendant of the hero from the first one. He looks like him. But it's never confirmed if, he's like the great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of the hero from the first one. It's possible he's just someone else in the Dragon Clan who looks kind of like him. I don't know if canonically they've ever said that. Because all of the Ryus across the Breath of Fire games look like this. They're like a blue-haired anime protag boy. But if that was canonically true, then yeah, that's another reason. Because it confirms that Nina's great-great-great-grandmother was the one from the first game. This Nina in Breath of Fire 2. Alright. If you have met with all your friends, next you will go in this room and listen to the man waiting inside. I'm sure you folks can kind of guess where they're going with this whole plot point. Look, it's me. You must make a great decision. The great power of the dragon, the Anthony, is the friend who believes in you the most. It is the strength in each of your friends' belief in you. In order to obtain the Anthony, the trust of your friends must be proven. In other words, one of your friends must sacrifice his or her life for you, or the Anthony will not be yours. You must choose someone. Do you understand? Yes. Friends who have fought with you, I'm sure it is difficult to part with even one, but sacrificing one life will save the world. You must decide. Sarlat said, Breath of Fire 1 Ryu's the reason why the Wind People can't fly. Yes. Specifically mentioned when you talk to old Nina in the trial that she married someone outside of her clan and weakened her bloodline so they can't turn into birds anymore. That is true, but I don't know if anyone's ever canonically connected this character to the original hero from the first one. I honestly don't know. Okay, so go out. Wise man of the dragon says, I'm sure you understand everything now. You must sacrifice one friend that you can trust. Chose the sacrifice and go into his room. Alright. So, this is a specific event, and there's a bit of a trick to it. You can go into any of the other party members' rooms and select them, and I'm pretty sure... Actually, let's just try it. I don't think it has plot significance. I'll just do a quick save state here. I haven't done this in so long. I know the solution to the event, but if you go into someone's room, let's say we wanted to sacrifice Spar. I honestly think I would choose Sten. But just for example, if we go talk to Spar, then it kicks you out, and the wise man says, "You will not be able to use the great power of the dragon with that attitude. Come back some other time." Alright, so what does he say now? Okay, it restarts the trial. And basically, it reloads everything. Sarlad said, "I always think since Ryu's mom had wings, she's a descendant." Yeah, but they stated in the town when you talked to one of the NPCs that that clan didn't always have wings. They were in such close proximity to the demon they were guarding that they developed wings over time. So I think that's a separate deal as opposed to being related to the wing people, which is interesting. I forgot that was a plot point. All right. So it basically resets you to the point you were at before and says, choose a sacrifice. So when you play through this game for the first time with no context, you think, okay, maybe I wasn't supposed to sacrifice that character. I'll go into someone else's room. So this is Sten's, I believe. You go in there and say, I'm going to sacrifice this one. And then it kicks you out and says, no, you're an idiot. Don't do that. Do it again. So let me reload the state. So as you can imagine, again, it's a trick question for the puzzle. The way you solve it is to go into your own room again. You cannot decide who is. You can't decide who is life you will use. And there's typos everywhere in this translation. It is true that they are all wonderful friends. I understand your feelings, but they are all prepared to give their life for you. Be brave and chose someone. Now, don't be weak. Aren't you the destined child? If it is for the purpose of saving the world, your friends will understand. Now chose someone. Now, you weakling, you're losing sight of your destiny. Don't try to be such a good guy. The demon will eat you alive if you have such a weak heart. Choose. Ryu, you must choose. Now. You're worthless. There's no way you can kill the demon. Your journey ends here. Roll credits. Cat says, phew, you startled me. I thought you were dead. Ryu fought with his feelings to the very end, but finally he has obtained it. He's attained the powerful strength of the dragon, Anthony. Everyone, as you believed, Ryu is a wonderful man. Go now, don't ever forget your friends believe in you. The answer to the puzzle was not sacrificing our friends. Which is good. Unfortunately, everyone has been reverted from their shaman forms, and now they're back to normal. So, at this point, we have two options. First, let's go back to the town and save. We don't want to have to do that event again. Fortunately, it's right here. Basically, at this point, you can either go back, save, and proceed forward, or you can teleport all the way out, redo the shaman forms, and then walk all the way back down here. I'm not doing that. That would take another hour. I have done that before when I've had my own playthroughs because I wanted to go through with the shaman forms, and it's a little bit easier because they're stronger. But for the sake of time, I'm not going to spend another hour walking all the way down here again. If there was a shortcut or a way to turn off encounters, like a permanent repel item, and I could just walk back, that'd be one thing, but I can't do that. So we will just head back. And we have whole new enemies down here, which we need to be a little bit careful of. Starlight asks, are you able to warp back to the end? No, because I don't believe Dologany is listed as a fast travel target. I can look. If I swap in someone that's got the warp spell, I could see if it lets me warp back there, but I'm pretty sure it doesn't. Oh, there goes Cat. Sorry, that ass. Also, once you get stripped of the shaman power again later on, yes, there is one more plot point that happens where it gets undone anyway. So I don't really think it's super critical. Where's the free in? We can see if someone can warp in and out and just save and reload if we need to. The shaman forms are basically just to make it easier to get down there. Everyone has higher stats, but it's not super important. Alright, I'll save, then I'll put Spar in the party. Spar's got the warp spell. Actually, let's try the exit first. We'll also put a save state here just in case I make a mistake. Actually, here's something we can test. Let's try and warp out of the lower part and see if it brings us here or takes us all the way up to the very top. Because it'd be good to know if we hit a tough spot we need to get out of this lower part and we warp out, where it's going to put us. Okay. So this warps us back to Dologany. That's good to know. But if we leave from here... then it sticks us way back on the map. Alright, let's put... we'll use John, doesn't matter. Now we'll see if we can warp down to the town. I'm pretty sure it's not there, but I honestly haven't looked. Yep. All we can do is warp to gate. Which is kind of annoying. That's something that I think would have been a good quality of life change. Is just the ability to get back down to where you need to. But there isn't a shortcut. So you basically have to walk all the way down from the top if you port out. And you wouldn't really need to unless you wanted to redo the shamans again. That's pretty much the only reason. So we will not do that. Instead, we will continue on. And the enemies are going to be tougher down here. It should still be manageable. Again, these are the ones with high defense. Yeah, Chop will be a one-shot on all these. It's too bad we can't set the AI to use spells. That's definitely something more advanced in this game. But it's not too bad. We can auto it. This is going to be a little bit longer fight because of how tough these enemies are. Alright, now we can proceed downwards. Oh, okay, these things do not have a lot of health. Okay, here's 1 point. We're pretty close to the last couple sections. This lower part of the tower, I don't think is a ton of floors. Ooh. My damage though. I got. Ah, come on. Oh, okay. We haven't seen that prompt yet. Based on the gut stat, when characters get to 0 HP, there's a chance that they'll get back up and won't actually get KO'd. And we've not seen that yet. That's what it looks like. Salad asks, is everyone at max guts? I actually don't know. We can look. I don't think so because I've only used a couple of the permanent stat items and we're not at near max level in experience. Ryu and Cat might be pretty close. We'll see. He's got 6 of them. She's got 5. Rand's got 1. Nina's got 4. So one thing that you can also do using the kitchen, you can craft those guts items that increase that. So you could give everyone like 8 or whatever the max is if you grind enough and make enough of the items. Which is pretty funny. I don't know how much that affects the chance of them getting back up, but it's basically max chance. Okay, I guess this is just an item up here. Insta kill. Yep. Oh, that's enough. Double damage on a crit. Something that has like 5 HP. Alright. Nose probe. Huh. I don't remember what that does. It's definitely armor. Oh, okay. Pretty respectable jump. 4 points in defense, 4 points in vigor. That's pretty good. We'll put it on Kat since she's going to be on the front lines, most likely getting targeted the most often. Oh. Just skeleton. Alright. Get bolted. Oh, those things are immune to lightning. Let's see. Tsunado it. Maybe they're weak against ice. Conic says, be right back, gonna eat dinner. Alright, we'll keep on trucking. Ninja mole. Ninja male? That is a unique drop, I believe. Not something anyone can wear, I guess. Must be for one of the other characters. What is it? Yeah, that's... No one in here has those kind of tunic-looking armors. Alright. Well, that's it for this section. We can head further down. I don't know that was entirely worth the side trip, but it's okay. Oh, those no hail, that's right. Oh, that partial immunity kicking into effect was why Rand took 0 damage from that. That's interesting. Well, these enemies are kind of more of a nuisance, but they do a lot of damage on crit. Okay, let's just keep going. Oh. We're already down here. Okay. Tile set has changed. Now it's this sort of organic dungeon looking tile set, and we have new enemies. Crystal turtles. Now, is it going to give me a save point down here? Or like a recovery fountain? I guess we'll find out. Let's see, I wonder if these are weak against Bolt. Nope, they are in fact immune to Bolt. What about... Oh, she doesn't have one of the endgame kind of fire-based abilities. I think it's one you learn from an NPC. It's called Missile. She does not have that one yet. Oh, these things might just be immune to magic in general. Alright, Wazi is headed out. Good luck, Wazi. I guess I will talk to you later. Let me know if you need any help with your project. Ooh, right stick. Okay, attack boost. Wazi says, I'll show you crimes against culinary arts later. I expect good results. Let's try 8.0. 8.0 and Typhoon. Nope. The skeletons might just be straight up immune to magic as well. Yep. Looks like a match community. Hmm, 53. Attack debuffs. We haven't seen that too often. Alright, Nina's at 54. Good lord. That encounter rate. 1 damage. Alright. More split paths. I'm pretty sure there's a save. There's some sort of recovery room in this area, I think. We're getting pretty close to the last couple fights. From what I remember, this particular new dungeon tile set's not like a multi-floor thing. But we'll see. These things are down here too. Okay, this heads further down. I think that's progress. We'll check that other room. Oh, okay. Well. Explore all paths. Those old kind of caster sorcerer looking enemies. I think it's a new version of something we've seen in one of the previous dungeons. Oh, they know hail. Great. Magic mass? Some free magic. Or not? Yeesh. Oh, hey, Nocturnal. I don't know if you came back after being gone, or if you were here the whole time, but glad you're here. We have been making steady progress, getting towards the end of the game. Okay. Holy role-playing. That is a weapon for Jean, I believe. Yeah. He uses rapiers. Uh-oh. Cat keeps getting KO'd. I think that'd be happening less if she had her shaman form. She's got, I think, a little bit higher defense. That's okay. We should be fine. Nocturnal says, came back, had to get my blood drawn. Ugh. That doesn't sound fun. Hopefully that went alright. Alright, let's see if there's anything over here. Ozzy says, Raku emergency, ham goes on top, right? Hold on. I see your Discord messages. Matt's right. It goes in the middle. Give me 1 second, folks. I gotta answer Wazzy's questions in Discord. Basically, what you do is you want to do like a layer of rice, then put the spam, then put the rest of the rice on top to fill out the mold. So you're making a sandwich, and then you're gonna wrap it. Wazzy is attempting to make spam musubi, folks. That's what she's asking about. I have given her a tried and true recipe that's a little bit different from most places that you can buy it. But trust me, it's better to do it that way. We will probably be getting a play-by-play on Wazzy's spam musubi status as we proceed. Solid said, "Oh, the spam sushi." Yep, that's it. I have a really good recipe that's tried and true, and so I had sent Wazzy the equipment to be able to make the musubis, and so her and Matt are finally giving it a try. Yeah, Rand finally hit 50. Oh, is there anything good down here? Nocturnal asks, wait, she's making what? Spam musubi. It is a popular snack in Hawaii. And a lot of places that aren't in Hawaii that sell Hawaiian food, like restaurants and whatnot, they will have that in there as something that you can buy. I know it sounds weird, but trust me, it's good. Oh, okay, another ladder going down. We'll check this path and see if it is progress or if it's leading towards a save point or a recovery spring. Getting low on magic points with Rand. Okay, that's a teleporter. I think we are headed towards progress. We'll backtrack to that other branching path and see if there's anything good there. And what I'll do is I'll save save states before we get on any teleporters, make sure we're not going on any one-way paths. I guess we'll see as we proceed, since my party's going to slowly get levels, maybe 1 or 2 before we hit the last couple fights. I don't think we'll see a noticeable difference in how much easier these mobs are. If we had gone for a true min-max party setup and had max stats, I think we would just be cruising through this section. But that's okay. I actually have to work for it instead of just being able to coast. Let's see, how are we doing on health balls? Okay. Burning through them at a pretty decent rate, but it should be alright. We're going to be relying on magic to heal in the last couple fights, but I'll probably want to reserve a couple stacks just to make sure in an emergency. Oh, that was the nullify again. Silver hat. Oh, that's not better. Okay, so this one looks like progress. We will check the one to the south. I bet it's items. Ooh. I'm surprised she didn't get KO'd there. With this particular parter, we also don't have any sort of all-target physical attacks. If we had Bao in his shaman form, he could basically target all the enemies at once, which is kind of nice. We also don't have Cat's ability to charge anymore, which would have been handy for the last couple fights, but not really worth walking all the way out of the dungeon, in my opinion, and walking back. Oh, more ladders. D Paladin. this new enemy. Holy sh... Okay, we already have those equipped. Oh, recovery spring, that's nice. Okay. HP MP max, that's nice. Huh. I wonder if we're heading towards progress. I honestly don't remember how the path splits. I really could use a save point somewhere down here, though. So if you wanted to grind, if, you know, I wasn't on a bit of a schedule here, I could kind of camp out near that fountain and just farm mobs, but we're not going to do that. We're just going to keep proceeding forward. It's also possible some of these paths connect, but I'm pretty sure they don't. Ooh. Okay. Gray Firebrand. Okay, not bad. Okay. There's another one of those flashy jewel things, which we saw in the other room. Maybe it does connect. What I'll do is I'll do a save state here before we proceed. It's possible that the paths do connect, but some of the rooms look kind of similar. Yeah, we'll do it like this. Okay, this puts us back there. So it's not one way. Oh. Okay. Let's explore around. That is an immediate encounter. I didn't realize we were already here. Wazzy is posting results of her culinary adventure in Discord. I think she's doing pretty good. I'm not Hawaiian, but I'm sure Hawaiians would be proud. Oh, Nina got Fireball, finally. I guess she does get the final fire spell. Missile is explosion-based damage, I guess. That's good. I see Iconic is back from dinner. Iconic asks, I returned, what did I miss? We have not gotten into any decisive battles yet. We're in the last part of the Infinity Labyrinth here. Oh, the Typhoon spells are kind of annoying. I see Iconic has redeemed a Hydrate. Alright. I will drink some of my good fuel. Ooh, 54. One sec, folks. I'm relaying real-time advice to Wazi. Alright, how... We proceed. Alright, nothing down here. Sarah let us redeem a stretch. Oh, we've been going 2 hours so far. I think we might be able... to do this in 3 hours. We're pretty close. I actually found the last set of encounter rooms. I'm just exploring the rest of the spots in the dungeon to make sure I don't miss any items. Come on. See how we're looking on levels. Okay, we might be closer to 60 by the time we get to the end. Alright, so we know teleporter will take us to a different section. Treasure. Ooh, dragon armor. That's got to be something for Ryu. Yep, pretty big. Jump in defense and vigor. That will be handy. What I want to look for in the immediate areas before we go into that one dark room, I want to look for a save point, because there's a recovery spring. So if we need to backtrack and top up all of our magic and HP, we can do that. But I could have sworn there's a save somewhere. Okay, no, this is dead end. This warp. This one I'm going to save state again. We came here from another path, from the bottom at that ladder. Let's see where this one goes. I'm going to make sure we don't get any one-way pass that boot us out of the dungeon. That would be very annoying. Oh, apparently everyone is being spell sealed. I think it's failing because you can only get inflicted with that status once. It's either once or one turn. That should do it. Oh, I can't step on this one. Okay, so that leads there. It's tough to run away from these enemies. It's possible there is no save room nearby. If that's the case, we'll proceed forward. That just means we'll have to do the entire end of the game in one shot. But we're not really running out of supplies. I think we're okay. I just wanted to try and get one last save in before we go. Just keep health high and be careful. I think I'll start burning magic instead of using items. We'll save those for the last couple encounters. Okay. Now we have a room that's completely dark. You've arrived. You are the destined child? Question mark. Don't be frightened. Come straight forward. I can only move forward. Hee hee hee. Does the darkness frighten you? Or do you cry out in front of me like you did as a child? Oh, that's ominous. It's been a long time. Or do you thought you would be the one to open the gates? Destined child, brave dragon. Do you remember me? Your nightmare? Hey, it's Barubari. The job is finished. You open the gate. The world will belong to Death Evan. Total destruction will begin from the gates you opened. Come attack me, Ryu. I'm not going to hold back like I did when you were a child. Alright. We're now fighting the monster that completely laid us out at the beginning of the game. So for this, we're going to go for full offensive. Oh, try out Fireball. Yeah, it's that one. 118. Okay, I think all of Barbari's attacks will hit the entire party. So we'll keep Rand on Cure Duty. Let's see if Bolt Axe does more damage. Oh, he's got a counter? Okay. We haven't seen this since the very, very beginning of the game when we encounter this fight. But Barbari has his own battle theme, which is pretty cool. You only hear this against this monster. Uh-oh. He is faster than Rand, though. So I guess we'll keep him on Cure 3 duty every time. I believe Barbari has spells as well. So we'll do this. Bolt Axe looks like our best source of damage. Okay. Barbari says, interesting, very interesting. The screaming, crying child has grown and gained such strength. How about it, Ryu? From now on, you fight me by yourself. So, I don't remember if this has plot significance, but basically you have the option to take him on one-on-one, and I think his stats are a little lower if you fight him solo with just Ryu. Let's do it. I like you. You're the brave man of the dragon. Come and attack your nightmare with your strength alone. Okay. Oh, I forgot to check my magic. Okay, we're at max. Notice we have Anthony here, but we cannot use it now. But we can use G-Dragon. So we go for the nuke. Okay, Fire Breath. That's fine. This is where we're going to use our one Wise Ball. Wherever it is in my list. 100 AP points. So this is going to give us another round of G-Dragon. The reason why I'm using it here is because this is the only time we fight this. We fight solo with the hero here. So I think because he's slower, we'll go Extract, top up, and then we'll use Dragon Magic on the next round. Okay, we should be able to heal. Oh, let's see. Does this put us in one-shot territory if we attack? Because we are faster, we'll get the first move. Just don't know if Barbari's going to use a spell. Let's go for an attack. Go for straight damage. Okay, regular attack. Oh, a dodge. Alright. Fire Breath. Okay, that's fine. We use our Extract. Now it's a DPS race. There's Bolt X. How much damage does that do? Ooh, 167. Alright. So I need to be above 167 in case Barabari throws that out. I think that's the highest damage. $130. Okay. Let's see. We have 14 roasts. Try and save these for the final fight. Starlight said, only a counter plus Bolt X will scare you. Yeah, that can happen too. That's why I'm going to be a little more conservative here. Keep my health high. Cold Breath is fine, but if Barabari goes counter plus Bolt X, that's going to put me near death. Okay, we'll heal. Let's see. We're going to take one more hit. How many more extracts do I have? No more of the regular extracts. Do I bank on a counter plus Bolt X? Because I can take one hit. I can't take two. Let's gamble. Uh-oh. Ooh, it's lucky dodge. Okay. If we can save a stack of one stack of roast for the fight after this, essentially, we should be alright. If I was playing this on a min-max save where I had the kitchen, another thing you can craft are those wise balls for 100 magic. My strategy would basically be dragon magic, wise ball, dragon magic, and just spam the 999 spell over and over again until he's dead. But we actually have to work for it since we don't have that here. Okay. Oof. Alright. Let's go for an attack. No counter, no counter, no counter. Okay, that's good. It's lucky. Running out of roasts. Yeah. I wonder how many hit points Barabari has. I can look it up, but I think we're close. Ooh. I'm surprised Ryu's not getting counters on those physical hits, though. It's a good thing he's faster. Yeah. No counters. $257, wow. I don't think that can crit. Actually, probably can crit. I probably just got lucky. Whew, got him. Bari says, maybe we were wrong. Maybe our idea to kill the destined child when he opened the gates was wrong. Ryu, allow me to praise your bravery. Turn right and proceed forward and take the treasure. Turn right. I can't see anything. There is something in here, I think. Fortunately, there's no encounters in here. That would be terrible. Yeah, there's a slight indent here, but I don't see anything that I can actually get. Unless he meant turn right at the room above. I could have sworn there was a side path that takes you to like a treasure chest that you get if you beat him. Well, let's save first before we do anything else. Nope, I don't see it. Oh, healing fountain. Okay, managed to save some roasts, but that did put a dent in our stacks and all my extracts. We will proceed forward. It's still random encounters. Oh, this is just one big open room. to make sure we don't burn a lot of resources in these last few fights, as I'm pretty sure we're one room away from the final boss. Oh, 40k in experience? It's not bad. Yeah, I think it's just straight north. Alright. We are here. No more encounters. Let's top everybody up. We'll use some my W fruits to put Rand at max. And get his HP. Before we proceed forward, I am going to proceed forward after I hit the little Raku's room real quick, because I need to go to the bathroom. So I will let everything play here and go on mute. Sarlad, for the treasure, give me an explanation in the chat, and I'll see it when I get back. I am curious as to what they were talking about. Yeah, feel free to drop it, and then we'll look at it when I get back. So give me one sec, folks. All right. Sarlad says, use cat to break a rock and use Sten to grab an area in the room. What is the treasure? Like, is it a weapon? Is it armor? Like, because I think I could switch my party if I just go back to the statue. I think it'll let me swap party members out. Like, actually, we can go look. I have never picked that up before, because I usually don't fight Barabari solo. Usually I will go in there with the full party and just say screw it and take him on. Let's go look. It's right here. If it won't let me change my party members, we'll just move on. Life bracelet. I don't know what the life bracelet does, but yeah, we can change party members. We'll do it right now. Oh, we need Sten. So, break a rock with Cat. Yep. I have never seen that before. What does it do? That's really obscure. I don't know how you would know to do that if you didn't look it up in a guide. It looks very effective. Alright, what is... I gotta look up what this thing does. Oh, it's regen per step? That's interesting. So you regen health as you walk around the map. That would have been pretty useful on my way down here, but I don't really need something like that now. Oh well. At least we got it. That's basically your reward for taking on Barabari solo. Okay. We'll just have to re-top up our health before we go through. Good enough. Alright, what we got? Oh, that's an old man. Evan, you came this far. My destined child, Nikanoru. Nikanoru, first of all, I thank you for opening the gates. I will go through the open gates, and I will bless the world with desperation. Everything living will look up to me and feel happiness as they accept death. Cat says, are you crazy or something? What are you rambling about? Who's Nikanoru? Evan says, you don't understand Nikanoru? Nikanoru is the word for dead beings. It is your name. Oh, now we're in crystals. Evan says, you are all dead. Life means nothing inside that crystal. I will give you endless pain, but you won't suffer alone. Eventually, everything in the world will follow your path into death. Oh, you say that is the strength of the destined child? You think that you are more powerful than I, the power of God? Iconic says, don't you just hate being a crystal? Oh, Protag says no. I don't appreciate that. Cat. Fighting is the only way she knew to express herself, but she saw a strength she never knew in Ryu. And now her life is over. Ah! Well, she's dead. You quietly watch your friends disappear. This is the difference between your strength and my strength. And Ryu cannot move. Next up, Rand. He wandered around the world because he hated boredom and met Ryu, and now his life is over. So we got Hydrate and Stretch from Sour Lad. Alright. Ah, Rand is dead too. Nina. She was chased out of the royal family because of her black wings. But she continued to think about the good of the royal family and tried to disappear. And now her wish will come true. Her life is over. Scarlet said Thanos. Pretty much. Evan says, so what do you think, Ryu, of your pitiful life? It easily crumbles in God's hands. Even if you're called the destined child or the brave one, you will still be washed away by a stronger power. While the world explodes in front of me, you will sit there and realize your weakness. Alright, so when I first played this game a long time ago, before the internet, before guides, and before everything else, I got to this point and did not know what to do. I went through all the dungeons, beat Barubari. I believe I had gotten that spell before, and then this happens, and it gives you no prompts. The screen just goes dark, and the music loops, and it does not tell you what to do. You just sit there. I thought the game was over, and I somehow got the bad ending. So the first time this happened, I just turned my game off, and I was like, well, I guess I got the bad ending. I'll have to play through the whole game over again. What you're supposed to do is hit buttons. If you hit the D-pad, you can see Ryu's sprite shakes a little bit. If you hit a bunch of buttons, snaps him out. The screaming of Ryu's heart shuttered the binding on Death Evan. I think that's supposed to be shattered. And now we have control. All that is left are the fragments of the crushed crystal. Our entire group of friends in our party have been destroyed. But now Evan says, are you saying you will break my barricade again? Ryu, you really do upset me. Something burst within Ryu when he saw Death Evan. It's hero time. Break into pieces, Ryu. He's justifiably upset after seeing all of his friends get brutally murdered. And he just cut him right in the friggin' face. I can't believe that I would lose to a crumb like this. A crumb, huh? It's impossible that I, God... It's not even his final form. Death Evan. God. God cannot die. Ryu... Roar? Destined child. Grrr. He's steaming mad. This is the final boss. Death Evan. So I think you can technically do this solo. I don't know if it's an impossible fight or if it just takes a really long time. But if you wanted to, you could fight the final boss solo. But what you're actually supposed to do is go into your spells. And look. Anthony is finally usable, and it's free too. 0 AP. All of Ryu's strength. Nothing like the final boss time to use that. Oh, Explode does almost 200 points of damage. Iconic says, alright, Death Evan, soon you'll be just dead. Dead Evan's more like it. Got him. Oh, we actually get rendered images. That's cool. The memory of his friends appeared in Ryu's heart. Bao, Jean, Sten, Spar, and Blue, who's sleeping, of course. Ryu thought of the Dragon Clan. Ryu thought about the world. This is the anime protag moment. Well, there's Mina. Ryu had friends to fight with him and a world to save. The power of friendship. Everyone's alive again. Ryu knew that the time had come for him to carry out his destiny. Death Evan says, "Roar. You're a shrewd man. How can you fight God this far? It's deplorable. Fine, I will rend the flesh from your bones. Killing you is only a start. There will be songs written about the beauty of the pain that I shall inflict upon you all." Alright, whatever, Edgy McEdgelord. And now we get the actual final boss theme proper. So you can only use Anthony once as part of the cutscene to bring everybody back. But we're gonna throw everything we got at the final boss. And unfortunately, the best way to refill magic is just gonna be to feed him fruits. But here we go. Right away, death. That would be terrible if that actually hit. And 250, it's pretty good damage. That'll do 999 as long as Ryu's at max magic. So until the party starts taking more damage, I'm going to have Rand keep shoving fruits in his mouth to top his magic up, and Nina will attack. Sarah said, "Let's go, our journey is about to end." It's all been leading up to this. The false god of the religion of the world that's been trying to destroy everything is a giant winged demon tentacle penis man. Because of course. Cold breath. Okay. I know Death Evan has some strong group hitting attacks. But we'll keep health high with Rand's Cure 3. Actually, no, we'll do this. We'll keep having him feed Ryu fruits, and we'll have Cat use vanilla extracts. These are 120 points of healing for the entire group. There's no point in saving items. We'll use them if we got them. Okay, 148. One more. I'll have you heal yourself for one turn. Feed fruit. Bolt X for you. Death. Well, there goes Cat. Okay, this turn we'll have use G-Dragon for 999. Rand, use a life pill. Full heal, full revive on Cat. Wonder if Nina can drain. She's gonna start running low on magic soon. Disappear. Disco lights? All spells have been erased. Is that mute? Oh, it's either mute or it's a nullify. Might be a nullify. Doesn't nullify that though. Let's try that again. I wonder if that ability just nullifies all spell damage for one turn. I will have Nina start getting some magic back for a little bit. I guess we'll heal. We also have roasts. We have our final stack of roasts we can use if anyone needs spot heal to 100%. Be God's power. Okay, that's Leech. 240 points of health in Leech. Okay, we can outpace that. That's good. Zarlat said, looks like an alternate version of Ganondorf. A little bit. It's got some kind of pig-ish attributes. It's pretty cool looking final boss sprite. You can't even see the whole thing. Alright. You attack. Let's throw some fruits at Nina. Fruits for everybody. Bone laser? Ooh, okay. That's not trivial damage. Starlight said most of the face. Yeah, the face is very kind of pig-like. Cat. We have 3 more vanilla extracts left. Rand. 1 more fruit. And Nina. Okay, for this round, go G-Dragon for the nuke. We'll have Cat use a roast and get Ryu back up to 100%. Rand, you can start feeding him fruit again. And Nina, use one on yourself. It's helpful that Cat is the fastest. I mean, she'll always get the first turn. Oh. That's a leech and an MP drain, looks like. Great, that means it's going to take me another round. Well, no, it's just going to be not full power, I guess. $565 instead of $999. I'll have you use Bolt X again. I think Death Evan has like around 25k in total HP, something like that. Okay, everyone's in recovery mode for 1 turn. A bone laser. Alright, you attack. There's 2 more vanilla extracts left. Ah. Set me back a turn. Oh, that's the last Cure 3. He's running out of magic. Oh, again? That's a problem, because that was going to be a turn to heal with Rand. Yep. Okay, we'll have to use our last vanilla extract. Rand is going to have to switch to using items for a bit, but we'll have him keep feeding fruit. And same thing with Nina. Let's try and get 1 more G-Dragon off. That might be enough. I haven't been keeping track of the health of the boss so far, but we might be getting close. Uh-oh. Okay, that's good. question is, will I be able to throw dragon magic before Death Evan does the leech again? Guess this turn can give some fruit to Rand. Okay, that's fine. Got the 999 off. Nope, not enough. Okay, still have a decent amount of fruit left. Put them all on Ryu. Technically, if we have 3 characters giving him fruit per turn, that's 60. It does get him pretty close to, being able to cast Dragon Magic again. That might actually be a more efficient way to do it than trying to mix in attacks and stuff with the rest of the party. I might do that. But we need Cat back on her feet. So you feed fruits. You throw life pill. Oh, there's a leech. Yeah, we'll go try and get his MP up as fast as possible. Oh, it's at 91? I'm 1 shy. Alright. We're out of vanilla extracts. I guess I can have Cat heal Nina just so she's out of 1-shot range. We'll have Rand heal the entire party. And you can give Ryu's last 1 magic and hope Death Evan doesn't cast Leech again. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, you use G-Dragon. And this turn, everybody give Rand your magic. Or give him fruits. Hopefully he doesn't throw a leech again. Okay, cold breath, that's fine. Will it be enough for 999? Nope. Alright, we'll heal Ryu. We use Cure 3. Nina will start feeding him fruit. Oh, there's a leech. Okay. Everybody give Ryu fruit. Shove him in his face. Uh-oh. Oh, there goes Rand. Okay, you keep it up with the fruits. Nina, bring Rand back. Uh-oh. That's a little concerning. Another stretch from Saurlan. Oh. Okay. We have to heal this round. Have Cat use a roast on Ryu. Rand uses cure 3. His last cure 3. And Nina top Ryu up so he can use dragon magic on the next turn. Okay, don't kill Cat. Alright. Oh, alright, well that was enough. There it goes. Somebody wake up, Cat. Death Evan says, why? Why do you want to kill me? Because you're evil, man. Why don't you understand that the destruction of the world is fate? I don't understand. Why does the world and the people resist destruction? Why don't they want to die? I don't understand. I will disappear now. I'll dream about destruction. Goodbye, Nikanoru. Get out of here. Sorry, so let's go. That was close. We almost ran out of items. It definitely was not easy. Alright, we did it. Ryu. When we were trapped in the crystal, I thought I heard Ryu's voice. But before you got shattered? When I came to, I was alive again. It appears that a strong power of the dragon saved us. So we can fight with Death Evan. You really did defeat the demon. Yes, yes, we won together, including the people waiting for us in town. Ryu remembered the faces of each friend. He felt a strong desire to see all of them. He wanted to share his victory over the dragon with his friends. He wanted to share this joy with everyone. Oh, I have control? Alright. Now walk all the way out of the dungeon. Mina says, "Say, Mina, my adorable sister, because of your wings, we saved the world from destruction. I'm now going to fight the destiny of my black wing, Mina." Well, your sister's still alive. She's just a bird. Okay. Epilogue. There's no dialogue here. Does this mean all the dragon clansmen don't have to live underground anymore? The fatal child? Fated child? I think they meant fated child. Oh, here's the crew that was waiting back in town. And Blue is probably asleep somewhere. September 1994, Project BF2. Kat says, "See, just as I said, Ryu is really great. It's true. I honestly always thought so." Nina says, "You have nothing to be embarrassed about. There's nothing funny about being called a brave man. You consider what you have accomplished." Ladies, please. Don't fight over me. Ren says, "You're worthy of being called a brave man." Let's go home. We've got to go home and celebrate. It's party time. Ryu? Something in Ryu's mind bothered him. A wise dragon. Great job, destined child. You did an excellent job of accomplishing the long-cherished dream of the Dragon Clan. Death Evan is gone, so the remaining demons have weakened. Our duty of watching for demons will be easier now. Nope, they're still staying underground. You really did a good job, Ryu. As in the legend, evil has been defeated. There's no reason for you to still be here. Go back with your friends. Goodbye, Ryu. Goodbye. I believe that you will fulfill your destiny. Will fall? Wise Dragon said Death Evan will fall. This is a flashback to literally 5 minutes ago. I don't understand. I will disappear now. I'll dream about destruction. Goodbye, Nikanoru. Ryu felt that his mission was not yet complete. Death Evan had not really disappeared. He was just asleep to regenerate once again. If it transforms into a dragon, I think if he transforms into a dragon is what they meant there, he can protect this land like his mother did. Oh, where's Ryu? I didn't notice that he was still back here. Cat asks, "What are you doing, Ryu?" Ran says, "I know what you want to say." He doesn't talk. You intend to protect this place like your mother did, right? Nina says, it isn't fair. Please think it over. I can't stand another person so important to me going away. But wait. Gainer says, you're not wrong, Ryu. Death Heaven has not disappeared completely. It is not a mistake that you, as a destined child, protect this place. What you're about to do is the correct road for the destined child. I am proud of you for facing your destiny with courage. My son. You might want to get out of the way. However, I don't remember raising you to hurt your friends. The energy recharge is completed. Roar? Ryu, stand back. Yeah, you might want to get out of the way. Meanwhile, everyone's inside. Charge? And Blue's sleeping again. Ichichi says, the engine will stop. Ryu, you lost your mother because I was not strong enough. This is the least I can do to make up for it, my son. Well, Gainer just took the entire flying town of Township and used the whole thing to seal the gates. Until the demon regains its strength again, and until the birth of the next destined child, I'll protect this land. I will keep the entrance to the town that you and I built together sealed. But the thing can't fly anymore, so it's gonna just... I don't think it's gonna stay in the machine. Gainer says, you should not stay here. You must spread justice and your beliefs all over the world. Yeah, but that's still the town. There's a town attached to the flying machine. Sorry, lad said from the previous scene, Le Frog spin. Oh, speaking of which, Jean says, no, that was really very painful. Ryu, when you and your wonderful friends spread the strength of your beliefs, Death Heaven will never be able to return. So replace the cult with a better cult. Bao says, welcome home, buddy. Alright, now we got the cast crawl. In flashbacks, that was a sprite of Gainer. Gate. Well, Gainer B. Demon Balbaroy. Well, you can see how the difference in translations and localization showed up. There's Mina. Iconic says, truly the Breath of Fire 2 were the friends we met along the way. Yeah, quite literally. And they actually have names for all the NPCs in the different spots too. It's gonna go by pretty quick, but it's kind of cool. There's Old Man Nero, the guy at the ruins. The cats are named too. Sarlat asks, what's next on your game plan? Well, we've managed to wrap up Breath of Fire 2 just in time for October. Hey, there's Cat. And it's Spoopy month. So for the rest of the month, we will be doing different kinds of spooky-ish type games on stream. And the next one up will be Demon's Crest. I will have to look at the schedule, but I think we're going to start tomorrow. We'll see. I got to figure some stuff out. There's going to be probably only 2 streams this next week because I'm going to be out of town on Friday. I won't be around for the weekend. And then I will be gone for a full week after that. So there won't be any streams the following week. I'll post on Twitter an explanation about the schedule, but there will be a couple this week. So we're going to kick off Spoopy month with some stuff, and then when I get back, we'll pick up with some other things. Like, I want to check out that metal shooter game. We'll definitely be checking some stuff out. This was the Joker Gang hideout. And here's Sten. It was Nina before this. Oh, this is the villagers at Capitan. Well, first up, it's Sana. This is where we had the shaman things got unlocked. Nope, there's Nimufu, the witch. The one that put the spell on Jean. And here's the restaurant. This was during the witches convention. Oh, there's a Patape, Jean's sister, powerlifting. That's pretty funny. She actually gets her own little sprite there. And this is Jean coming back home, I guess. No, this is the Princess of Highfort, Sten's hometown. Next up, Spar. Oh no, this is the Queen of Tunlin. The one we help lose weight. Pope World. Quoted as Fatty Queen. How nice. Oh, that was Daisy. That's cool. I forgot that she gets her own sprite too. This is Rand's mom. Next. Oh, it's Mina. Yeah, the king's fine. Oh, it's Claris. This is when we joined up with the Resistance to take down the church. Ray. This is when we fought him at the Grand Church. After not so subtly trying to infiltrate its pretend believers. Oh, there's Patty. She gets her own sprite too, even though she's never actually part of the a battle or an encounter. But this is Infinity. This is one potential party of people we could have explored with. There's Death Evan in wizard robe form. Oh, here's the party. It's going by pretty quick, but you can see the actual canon names of the entire characters. There's Valerie with her kids. Presented by Capcom. Is that a shot of the town of Gate? Oh, interesting. So the final title artwork. This is new for the advanced version. It's a shot of Patty looking out over the sealed caves. So this is the entrance to the demon's lair in Infinity. All right. Then this is just a reset to title screen. Sarlad said, "Man, I wish the Dragon Tier had a bigger role other than a mood meter." Yeah, it's an interesting idea, but it doesn't really have a lot of plot significance other than knowing what different NPCs and characters are saying when you interact with them. But that was Breath of Fire 2, folks. Like I mentioned way back at the beginning, this is my favorite SNES RPG. A lot of fond memories playing this one, and I think the advanced version is the definitive version to play as far as quality of life improvements. But it's a really fun ride. I like the whole idea of discovering the mystery behind this religion that turns out to be a front for an unholy evil demon god. And then you have to basically try and piece together the mystery while solving problems around the world with a pretty varied cast of characters. And the game's decently challenging. At no point I think I was cruising through this game. If I had set up the town a little bit differently, I could have basically min-maxed the entire party, and the last few dungeons and fights probably would have been a cakewalk. But we didn't do that, so instead they were pretty decently tough. Barabari was pretty hard to fight solo, especially without all of the high-end magic recovery items. And Death Heaven itself was still decently challenging. We almost ran out of items, but we were able to get through it. But yeah, I guess we will go ahead and call that a stream for today. We managed to do it just inside of 4 hours, which is a pretty good time. Let's see if anyone is online to raid. Let's see, did Wazi go live? Okay, let's go send everyone over there. They're doing crowd control with RE now, which I do want to go watch. So let me set up the raid for that. We'll go ahead and pause this. And we'll go to outro. And we'll go ahead and go raid Wazi and Matt. So thanks again for hanging out, folks. We will be starting up with spoopy-ish related games starting next week. I'll post a schedule on Twitter once it's ready. So until then, thanks again for hanging out, and have yourselves a good evening. Now let us commence the raid.